I'm going to just ask one other little question though. Coach, has T called you and talked at all? We text back and forth. I saw him on TV the other day, and he was like a kid in a candy store. I mean, you talk about the deal. He got to play on a national championship team, and 2 years later plays in the Super Bowl. Regardless of what an accomplishment for somebody that deserves everything, right?
Yeah,
you know,
he's a great player, but he's a better person.
Which is, he's just a wonderful guy. Great. Well, that's a great lead in, Tom. And we got a wonderful guy doing our presentation today. And again, Zoomers, and for our video, we're not going to be able to show Tom actually delivering his presentation, but at least everybody will get to see the slides. Beth, over to you.
Gosh, I hope I can do this. If I have to hold too many hands, I might get discombobulated. So, you know, I wear a lot of different hats, and one of the hats that I wear is track mom. And I met this guy 3 years ago because my daughter decided to stop rowing for Atomic and become a distance runner. And so he's just a great, great guy. So Tom Sauer has been in education for 26 years. He's a Oak Ridge native. He graduated from Oak Ridge High School in 1991, where he ran track and cross country for Coach. I can never say that name. He's also a UT graduate. He has his undergrad degree in history. He has a master's in curriculum and instruction. And he's been teaching at Oak Ridge High School for 10 years. He is our head track and cross country coach, and he's our head track and field coach and our assistant cross country coach. I'm just really messing up this morning. He teaches in the social studies department, and he's just a great guy with a big heart. He has a wife, Megan, who's a teacher, and he's got 2 great kids and a dog who's named for a Star Wars character. And on that, I will hand it over to him.
So I'm a teacher. I don't know if I'm able to hold this. I use my hands when I talk. So hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm pretty loud. So, hey, first off, thank you for letting us come here. It's my first time doing one of these.
You do need to use the mic, though, so that the people kind of hold it.
No, that's fine. No, that's cool. That's good. It's a lavalier. Let's do it. Hello, Zoom people. Cool.
Well, we wish we could see you, but we can't.
Okay. I don't know if y'all are aware, part of my job today is spread information. Good news. Like Ms. Shea said, I'm an Oak Ridge native, Oak Ridge graduate. I'm an AP instructor at the high school, and I'm also the head track coach, assistant cross country coach. That is Coach Ed Wright. He's the head track coach. A little bit of background. We have had at Oak Ridge High School in our history 14 state championships on the cross country side. We've had 8 on the track side. The cross country team is the winningest program at Oak Ridge High School. We have a tradition that we find very important. I ran with Ed in high school. I ran slower than him. You might see Ed running around Oak Ridge. He's been doing it for 30 years. But we have finally embarked on renovating the Ben Martin track. Now, I've been the head coach for the last 4 years. When I first got the job, I met with Dr. Borchers and Mr. Lay to talk about the condition of our track. Now, if you've not been on it, you may not have a clue what it's been like. But I'm not here to dwell on that because that's getting rectified. So
thanks, Tony. You're doing the best you can.
Phase 1 is supposed to be starting now. They've been cutting down trees. The contractor has had COVID issues, so it's going to be delayed. But this season, we will not, as a team, have a track to practice on. The good folks at the Jefferson Middle School have graciously allowed us to move our high jump pit there. And my sprints group is going to be there twice a week. Hurdles will be over there as well. It's going to be a arduous task for us to have a successful season, but we're going to. The kids know that this year leads to really good things, and it's really good news. Now, phase 2 is supposed to be completed by this time next year. We'll see how that happens. Okay. All right. One of the things I really need to stress, being an Oak Ridge graduate, is this is the mission statement of the entire Oak Ridge schools. One of the things, if you ever go to their website, if you ever hear Dr. Borchers talk, is about excellence. Now, when I went to Oak Ridge High School, and I'll be blunt with you guys, it was, we will kick your butt in the classroom and we will kick your butt in the field. That's how we rolled. It is very important to have good ancillary activities to elevate academics. Academics, our kids are student athletes. I take that very seriously, but we also want to win. So one of the things that I will share with you is about 5 years ago, I was sitting at Wasabi with my family in Knoxville. Now, my kids at that point were probably elementary school. And we were sitting, when you're getting chop it up, there's other families there. And there was a family with 2 girls. And I wasn't a track coach then, but I was cross country. And they started to have a conversation. And they were talking about running. And I'm like, oh, they run. What's going on? Now, I'm not going to get involved. And they said, yeah, we have a meet at Oak Ridge. I don't want to go. And the first thing I did, because you look at how I'm dressed, I'm like, geez, am I wearing anything Oak Ridge? I don't. And they talked about how terrible the track was and how they were embarrassed to have to go compete there. And those people they weren't doing anything wrong. I wasn't angry at them. I wasn't like, how dare you? Because, being a cross country coach, we're down there. We see it. So we're going to roll through some slides to show you what our kids have been dealing with. So that would be the start line. Now you see that there are, there were things where the painting, but if you see some of the stuff that looks a lot gray, that's concrete. That is the 1940s base. We're not getting a resurface. They're redoing the entire facility because if we put a new surface on it, it would be gone in like a year. So next one, please. So that's turn 2, same thing. It's not safe to run there. Even if they weren't doing the reconstruction this year, we would not be able to hold any meets. It's not safe. There are, like, for example, yesterday, Jaden was there. We have to pick what lanes they're going to run in. Otherwise, they're going to get hurt. Okay, next, please. Turn 3. Okay. You're getting the picture. This is all getting fixed. Next one. That's the start of the 200. All right, next, please. And one of the things that's happening is all of the drains underneath do not drain. Therefore, the track is sinking. And that's why the practice field is not good. That's all, like I said, it's all getting fixed. We're on our way. The good folks at the schools and the cities have finally come together and they approved the money. It's starting next week, or it's supposed to start last week. All right. That's where the pole vault area is. So same thing flooding. Okay, we can go on. Let's get the good news. So phase 1 is in progress. It's fully funded, and that is everything inside the fence. Everything inside the fence should be done by June. Should be, but our season ends in May, so we're good. Hopefully it'll be done for summer football, and when they come back for the fall in July, and when we come back for cross country in July as well. As you know, we're on a bounce calendar, so we start school in July. All right, it's $1.3 million, right on. The entire track is going to be shifted. Like I said, they're redoing the whole thing to offset, because if you guys know, like the big pool's over here, there's a creek right here, and it's sinking in as well. Like it's way overdue, but we're good. All right, new French drains under. That's the first thing they're going to do. They're going to excavate everything, and then they're going to rebuild everything after that. So that the infrastructure, and if you've driven around Oak Ridge, you know that the infrastructure is something that really needs to be addressed in our entire city. Everything underneath is from the Manhattan Project. So phase 1, all our throws, all our jumps are going to be visible from the stands. That is something that we will be one of the only facilities in the area, high school-wise, that will be able to do that. Most schools have their track inside their football stadium. So they are limited with what they can do. We are going to have a dedicated track facility that's also the practice field for the football team. Therefore, the goal and what's happening is for us to be the premier location of track and field outside of Tom Black Track at UT. They're the only other one that's dedicated to that. Everybody else has got football. Oak Ridge is going to set itself apart. Just information, we're going to get pole vault, hopefully. And then they're going to add lights. Like right now, our lighting array is not TSSAA or NFHS certified. So technically, if somebody came, they'd be like, this meet doesn't count. But we're past that, so let's go. All right, next. We're also going to have a steeplechase. Now, if you're not familiar with steeplechase, if you've ever seen a track meet where people are jumping into water, that's the steeplechase. One of the goals that we have for this facility is to host college meets. Before COVID, we would have been the only track in the state of Tennessee that hosted an elementary school meet, a middle school meet, a high school meet, and a college meet. Now, we did host what's Sam's conference? Yeah, we had a college meet last year because they needed to find one. We're a central location. One of the things about a lot of the mid-level colleges is they need to find places to go. We held a meet. This is exactly what the coaches meeting afterwards was, because I want to make sure everybody had a good time. They said, your volunteers, which is our parents, and your staff put on the best meet that we've had all year. And then one of the coaches said, we're sorry your track is so bad. And I'm like, and they're not wrong. Like, it was weird. Let me tell you, it's weird. It's weird not to get angry. It's very weird. Now, one of the things that I can tell you about the kids, this is all was a pipe dream. Like me and Coach Wright and Alan Etheridge, assistant athletic director, we've been meeting for over 2 years about this. And every time we got an email or a call, I was waiting for them to go, it's not happening. Because it just was. And the night that the school board approved the money, I was there. And then one of the big wigs at SAB came over to me and went, hey, sorry, they don't have the votes. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, fooled you. And I'm like, you can't do that. The day after that they approved the money, and I was scared. Like when it came to the vote, I'm like, oh my God, like they could say no, this is all gone. Because we already told the kids, already told everybody. Went down to the track that you just saw, and it was the first time that I wasn't mad. And I wasn't mad at anybody. I was mad that our kids had to deal with that. You know, we can say excellence all the time, but you know, you've got to have the rubber meet the road. You know, you got to go. So we're going to have that, which is going to attract more people from outside the area, and I'll get to that.
Where's the water?
Oh, if you want to go back. Right there. Hey, we've already been lifting today. We had our kids out at 6 in the morning. All right, next, please. All right, so phase one construction fully funded. Now, phase one equipment is 100% the responsibility of our team. That's going to include, and we'll see it here in a second, the number that we are trying to reach to have a complete meet is $40,000. So the three main things that we have to have is a complete set of hurdles. Now that, if you have a meet, you have to have 80. It's 80 hurdles, aluminum, plastic. We're getting customized ones. We have to get a new high jump. If you're gonna, like, think about this. You got a brand new, you know, car, and you've got a radio that's from 1982. Won't work. Won't work. No Bluetooth? What? We cannot have a first-class facility if we don't have first-class equipment. Now, this is not pie in the sky equipment. This is quality equipment that is going to represent what we're doing right here. So high jump, pole vault, hurdles. Next, please. And we already got the money for the hurdles. This has been straight up through alumni and friends and family. We started doing this push in December. So, you know, basically, you know, we just started February. I have been, and there's no lie, I have been so thankful for people that I've never met. And I'm fully aware a lot of them are people that are alumni from Oak Ridge High School, have no idea who I am. They probably know who Ed is, but it's from their experience with track and field and cross country, because the running programs both use it, that they had for their kids and what they had when they went to Oak Ridge High School. And that's very important to me. So we're now going to hopefully start kicking into the next phase of awareness and what the track is going to do other than have it for the kids to run on, because there's way more than that. Phase two, construction, is going to be concessions, locker rooms, a field house, bleacher extensions to make it a real track, and a video board. Okay, here we go. So the new entrance and concessions, and I don't know how often you guys are at the high school. I don't know. I'm always inside of it. I'm there from dark to dark. It's going to match the Pro to Serve soccer complex that's right next door. One of my goals, and my daughter plays soccer, is they have the score tournament every year, and they don't use the high school field. And what part of this plan is, well, now we have two fields. Why are we not having the best facilities for people that come out of town? They're playing on softball fields. The goal is to be a complete partnership with the city. I've already touched with people at RNL because I know they have a health initiative, and it's about putting things on for people that aren't, you know, that aren't just the high school runners. This is a thing that it is a community track. People use it all the time. And so it is more than being in a stadium that's locked off. And that is one of those important things. Next, please. So if you're at the turns, we're going to have portable bleachers. They're going to be down here. So if your kid is just doing shot, you can watch shot, or if that's your thing. You can see it up at the top that it's just the new version of it. Next, please. This will be from the infield. Our long and triple jump will have runway all the way down. Bleachers are going to go all the way down to the fence. That's how track facilities are. Football stadiums are not that way. because you got to have a break. You know, you got to have the cheerleaders and the team. Dedicated track facilities are you were right there. Everybody loves the 100-meter dash. You're going to be right in front of it. Next, please. Spectator view. That is very important, the aesthetic of it. What do people see when they come to Oak Ridge High School or any school? They see the outside. They see the outside. And if you're just on the turnpike, everything looks fine. If you get up there, you're going to go, ooh, this is not what I thought. We want to make sure that the outside matches what we're doing on the inside of the school. Now, the video board is an advertising thing. Daktronics came. They did a demo for us in the where the band practices in the band parking lot because it's 100 yards because they have to use a football field. The guy said, I don't want to break the windows in the school. And I'm like, how could you do that? This is a thing that if it gets advertised, it'll be fully funded. One of the things that we made sure is that it can be seen from the turnpike. One of the spiels that I had to do with the people at SAB and the city was, there's advertising at the video board at Blankenship, but you're only going to see that if you're at Blankenship. This is something that is going to be used, and people will see it all the time because lots of people are at that school. If you're coming to a basketball game, you know where you park by the track. So there is a big vision of this. Next, please. How can you help? First thing I'm going to say is, it's one of those slides that's out of order. I have it out of order, is how can we help? It is important for us to have good experiences for people so they come to our town. I used to live in Charleston, South Carolina. I know I moved back to Oak Ridge. It's true. And before I was a coach, my best friend was the head track coach, and we would put on an invitational. It used to be called the Sandlapper Classic. Actually, our team usually goes to it. This year we can't because of the travel costs. And my group, we have the best coaches in the state of Tennessee because we don't have somebody that's just filling a spot. We have a dedicated sprints coach, me. I have an assistant. We have a dedicated jumps coach, Coach Laura Froning. We have a dedicated shot put coach, that is Coach Tom Froning. We have a dedicated discus coach, that is Gary Van Berkel. We have a dedicated distance coach, that is Coach Ed Wright. We have a dedicated hurdles coach. Every kid gets top-notch coaching individual. We're not just people that are out there because, you know, there's a stipend. We know how to put on a meet. I know how to put on a meet. And I want to put on a first-class one that can generate, and these are round numbers, but I know what we did in South Carolina. A good weekend can be upwards of $15,000. That's revenue. Profit. I'm sorry, profit. You know, decently, 5 to 10. My goal is for my team to not have to sell anything. I do not like, and we talked about this, it's one of the things we have to do in public education. I can't stand our kids having to sell stuff. You know, they've got things to do. And anything that we can offset is going to be very important. One of my goals, or our goals, me and Coach Wright, who works at Jefferson, I work at the high school, is I want to be able to give Robertsville and Jefferson, those teams, $1,000 every year because middle schools don't get any money. They're the kids that come to us. We need to be prideful. We need to make sure that they feel good. It's hard to get them to be motivated when they come out and go, everybody forgot about us. But that, again, is being rectified. So the goal now is let's make it the best that we can do. And what I would like for you to know is that you can trust us to do that. I don't spend all my time out there because I just like it. I love it. And there's nothing greater than seeing kids do things that they didn't think that they could do. That's the number one goal. It's very hard to get them to believe that, but that's part of the journey. So when I say, how can you help? Anything helps us to reach our goal. When we get to phase 2, the goal is to have a memory wall, not a memory wall, but we'll have a wall where people that have been generous with us and have helped us and assisted us will be noted. I mean, there's going to be regular advertisements and things like that. Hey, I'm going to tell you something that I don't know if I should say. When it's new, when it's grand opening, the practice field is going to be named after Joe Gaddis. Now, he already knew that. I did that before he was athletic director. Just letting y'all know that. I did. It just happened to work out. So awareness, you know, one of the things that I'm fully aware is that people don't know, they just hear. And people like results. People like winners. When they approved the money, they made me talk, even though they told me I wasn't going to talk. And they replayed it on the YouTube channel for like a month, where I said, we're going to win a state championship. And then I went, oh my God, I just said that out loud. But if that's not the goal, I don't know what I'm doing here. But it's also to grow kids. The experience of being on our teams is important. I'm a part of it. Ed was a part of it. It shaped who we are, and the outreach has been great. I just need, people that the city is important to me. I said I wasn't born here, but I grew up here, been, lived here, moved away, and came back. Why did I come back? Because I had kids, and I wanted them to go to Oak Ridge schools. And my wife wasn't from here. She's like, oh, we're gonna go back to. She didn't come back to Oak Ridge. I came back. I brought her, but she works at Woodland. Both of my kids are Jefferson. My daughter will be at the high school next year on our track team. And it is not just a lip service. First thing is we have a dedicated website to the update and progress, orhstrack.com. We are a nonprofit organization. We're a 501c3, sorry. And so everything is way above board. If there is a donation given to us, you immediately get a receipt email right then. Want to make things easy. It goes through PayPal, but I know in PayPal you can also use your debit card. I do want, especially when this gets going, I want to have partnerships with businesses. I don't want to have to ask for anything. I want people to understand that this is for us, and we're right at the beginning of it. Like, it's really exciting. Like, I'm not kidding. This was the best news and I had to sit on it for like a year. They're like, hey, I think it's going to happen. You can't tell anybody. And I'm like, I can't tell my wife, and I didn't. And she was mad at me. Next. And again, how can we help? I want to bring eliteness to our program. I want to bring eliteness to our high school. I can honestly say, and I don't lie. I mean, I know a couple of you, but Miss Shea knows me. I can't lie. The high school is going in the right direction. The high school is 100% going in the right direction. If I didn't feel that way, I just wouldn't say anything. New leadership under Dr. Adams, who I went to high school with for a year. New direction in athletics. The focus isn't on the money sports. The focus is on all of the sports. Hopefully, if you are part of social media, you'll see that promoting what all our kids are doing, and this includes maskers and band, everything that kids do outside of the classroom and inside is very important to us. It's not a sports only thing. Just sports is the part where I'm at. And I really hope if you have any ideas, because I know Ms. Shea has been really good at doing this stuff. I'm not built for this. I'm built to coach. I'm built to be honest with kids. I've been doing this for 26 years, and I can't be more proud of Oak Ridge High School. And it's been a while. So I guess. There you go. Anything else? Does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, I have one.
Okay, yes, sir.
Oh boy. Is there any difference in a track that's going to be used? My wife and I used to walk around the track a lot. Is there any difference in like the materials?
Yes. Well.
And what's the difference and why?
One of the things is it'll be so the rubber is pellets. Like, I wanted to have colors. I remember we were like, oh, can we make it a color track? I want it to be gray and maroon. And then they pointed out, they were like, anything red becomes pink because of the sun. And they were like, also, they said that'll be an extra $50,000. And I went, oh my God. So it'll be black. The one thing that will happen is there will be guards on lanes 1 through 3. When people walk on the track, they want to walk on the inside, but then it gets worn down. And so there are guards that keep people, inhibiting them from being in lanes 1 through 3, but they'll have 4 through 8 still get to be used. I mean, it's a public track. But yes, if you've ever been to a track that is more recent, it's soft. Spikes got to grab. If it's on concrete, you'll slip. And our stuff is like dust right now. Like, there's part, like, literally, and I didn't want to pull out all the pictures, but I had this one kid, Jack Buer, like pick it all up, and it's just a pile of sand, and it's just not safe. Yes, sir.
Why don't you tell us, since your goal is to win the state title and beat the best and stuff, tell us a little bit about the teams, boys and girls.
Okay, they're asking about the team this year. I will be brutally honest. Our boys team is really good. Our boys team, especially on the sprint side and the distance side. I mean, yeah, we've got a bunch of athletes. One of the goals that I had coming into this was, in order to have the best track team, I got to have football and basketball players. Just do. And this year, I want to say I have 16 football players, and it's like I'm like a kid in a candy store. We have last year it's sectional. Now, sectional is the meet that you get out of to go to state. Only the top 4 go in every event. We have the toughest section in the state. I'm not lying. It's Hardin Valley, Farragut, Maryville was in it. Science Hill, Dobbins Bennett. It's tough. And we had, I want to say 31 kids get to that meet, but we only had 8 kids get out of it. Now, a bunch of those kids that didn't get out of it had better times than kids that did get into it. It's part of the game. We are having our first indoor meet on Sunday. Our first meet is going to be on March 5th. We have a lot of freshmen. We do not have a lot of seniors. I just had to do the thing about, celebrating the seniors. We don't have a track. So senior night's going to be at one of the home soccer games because we got to have an audience. And I want to say total seniors, we have 6. So this year is going to be good. And next year is going to be better. And we'll have a new track. So, that's that.
One more question, please. And you might, I don't know if you can stay around after.
I will stay as long as anybody needs a question answered.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't have to go to work till noon. Yes, ma'am.
How long is this new construction expected to last?
It's, oh, okay. So if we, let's say we had like Hardin Valley, they just resurfaced last year. Once we get a new surface, because like we're getting the foundation done too, it'll last, the typical one's 8 years. Now we've already talked about, like, one of the things that is not going to happen as long as I'm here is having to ask for money. Like I want to get self-sustaining and then give back. Is we will already, as a school, we've already had conversations about what's going to happen in 2030, because we can't be in this hole again. Like what ended up happening, to be honest, things got away from the school and it wasn't a priority. And then it became, it's ill repaired. You can't do anything with it. Like there was no fixing this. And finally, like one of the things that had to happen, and it did, was had to get Mayor Gooch down there, had to get Keys, Phil Howard, had to get the superintendents on the track. Once they got on the track, that's when things started to happen. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe this is bad. I'm like, I told you. But it's part of it. And we're out there. Me and Ed are out there. Coach Wright are out there 12 months out of the year. I see people. My brother-in-law walks it every morning. That's got to go Blankenship. They locked it, by the way, if anybody uses it. Like, they locked it yesterday. How do I know? I couldn't get to practice. I had to call somebody to give me the code. They didn't tell me. I was like, oh man, so things are going good. Like, it's happening. They cut down trees because they're going to build new buildings. They weren't just being jerks.
Thanks. Oh, go ahead, Emily. One more.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say thank you so much for your enthusiasm, for your energy, for your vision, and your persistence. My daughter ran both cross country and track, and she graduated in 93.
What's her name? Okay, because I graduated in 91. So we would have overlapped a year.
Anyway, I just want to say thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
What's going on. I'm not the only person who's learned a lot.
Oh, thank you.
One other point, he was the head lifeguard outdoor.
Dude, that was like 30 years ago.
When I had and he graduated with my daughter.
Yes.
So anyway, strong up.
Yeah. Hey, thank you.